Well, good afternoon, class. Beautiful spring day in Denver, isn't it? Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Today, I want to talk about what makes music powerful. And while discussing this idea, I want to argue that music is perhaps the most powerful form of art. The first reason I think it is the most powerful art form is that it can touch you physically. So when I say music touches us physically, what comes to mind? Probably something like dancing, or tapping your fingers and feet, or something like that. But think about it. That is our reaction to music. Something we do physically. But how does the music actually touch us? Well, music goes into our bodies. Music creates sound waves, or vibrations, that physically touch your eardrums. That is how we hear. That may surprise some of us who think of music as something invisible, like air. But think of the power that has. When your mother hugs you or your husband or wife holds your hand, it is doing something very similar to what music does. It touches you. This is a power we don't often give to strangers. Think about the last time a stranger sat too close to you on the light rail. In order to touch someone else, you often have to know and trust that person. Other great art forms, like paintings or photography, don't actually touch you. Music does. Okay, another reason I think music is the most powerful art form is we connect to it before we're even born. This is probably strange to think about because we live in such a visual society. Our televisions, computers, smartphones, and other media are all visual. We are surrounded by it everywhere. So when we think of powerful art forms, we probably think about something visual. In fact, I am sure many of you got a visual image in your head when I said art. I doubt that many of you thought about sounds. But a lot of new scientific evidence shows that the ear is more powerful than the eye. Think about it. Before we are even born and are in the womb, we are basically blind. After all, it's pretty dark in there. But at the very beginning of our existence, we hear sounds. The fetus begins to develop our ability to hear sound between 17 and 19 weeks. This means that we are already in a world of sound. We hear our mother's breath and heartbeat, and of course any of the sounds that surround her. But how do we know what the fetus actually hears? Until recently, there were different ideas. Some doctors thought that the fetus could hear only high notes. However, we certainly didn't know if we could hear music until the work of Sheila Woodward, a South African who wanted to know more about the musical sound in the womb. She was a young scientist in the early 1990s, and she was pregnant. She wondered what music her own child was being exposed to before birth. In her studies at the University of Cape Town, she worked with the Institute of Maritime Technology to adapt an underwater microphone so it could be placed in the uterus. This microphone was about 2 inches long and was safe enough to put inside the womb. As part of Woodward's research, this miniature microphone was inserted through the cervix and placed alongside the neck of the unborn child. The microphone recorded exactly what was audible inside the uterus as Woodward played music, sang to herself, and had the mother sing. Woodward used her microphone on many expectant mothers and learned that fetuses can clearly hear high frequencies, like the sharp sound of an instrument, like a violin. Though the sounds are a bit muffled, the overall effect is like listening to music underwater. But as an unborn baby, we can detect human voices, including whether it is a man or woman, and we can hear the tone, whether it is soft or loud, or fast or slow. Furthermore, other studies show that even if the mother hears music, if she has headphones on and it is music that she finds soothing, the baby's heart rate lowers while the mother is listening. If the mother finds a certain piece of music stressful, the baby's heart rate goes up. So the fetus is echoing the mother's response to the quality of the music. This means that music and sound is the first way that we learn about life. It is the foundation we have that decides our very earliest understanding of the world. This means we connect to it on a very deep, physical level. Can a great painting or sculpture or other art form do that? Not at all. Now, I don't want you to think other art forms aren't important. Of course they are. I can stare at an original Vincent van Gogh painting for hours, and I feel lots of things. But I just believe that music is the most powerful art form. And that is because the sound touches us physically, and the sounds in music are something that help develop us before we're even born. Thank you.